Welcome back everybody to CanHammer, your source for 40k from the Great White North. This morning I'm going to do my long promised and sometimes forgotten read along of the Imperial Armour Index for Chaos. So this is the Forge World Index for Chaos Forge World models. For reference, you can catch the read along I did of the Space Marine one. I guess it was just over a few weeks ago, and a lot of the models are the same, just a Chaos version and an Imperial version, but some of the rules are slightly different. So if I don't go over every model in here, it's probably because it's the same model with some slight differences, and I'll just point those differences out. As usual, when I read through a codex, I will try and stop at every page so that you can pause the video and have a good look at it if you need. And let's get going. I'm gonna have this here so I can compare as we go. Okay, so first of all, what are some of the additional rules that these guys have? So this will really be the main difference between the Chaos versions and the Imperial versions. So macro weapons is the same, and then there's this Arch Demonic Ritual here. So Arch Demonic Ritual says that there's 4 greater demon lords in this book: Angrath, Scabbath, Thrax, Tesseracures or whatever, and Zarakanel. And in order to summon these, you have to use this Arch Demonic Ritual. So you summon them like normal demons, except that you declare which unit is attempting to summon, and only characters with the same mark of chaos can summon, so like before. And when you attempt to summon, you roll 9 dice. You can summon 1 new unit with the Arch Demonic Ritual ability that has the power rating equal to or less than the total result, so long as it has the same chaos keyword as the summoning character. This unit is treated as reinforcement for your army and can be placed anywhere within 12 of the summoning character and 9 for the enemy model. So you roll 9 dice. So that's a decent number more dice, but these guys are very high power level, I'm assuming. If the ritual fails, no unit is summoned. If there are any doubles in the roll, so if you roll 9 dice and you get any doubles, the summoning character suffers a mortal wound. If it includes any triples, then the summoning character is slain. So that's pretty risky. So I don't know mathematically what the chances of rolling a triple is in 9 dice, but it's probably decently high. And so you better be prepared to lose that character if you want to summon one of these guys. Anyway, and then combi weaponless. So the only difference here is the Arch Demonic Ritual. I guess we're going to see some other differences as we go through, but those are the main rules. So here we go. Blood Slaughterer of Khorne. So let's look at this one, the Greater Blight Drone. So Blight Drones are pretty nasty. The Greater one has a couple more wounds, 12 wounds, same save. And similar kind of stats when it reduces in terms of strength and attacks. And it has a Blight Reaper Cannon and a Bile Maw and a Plague Probe. So the Bile Maw is pretty good. Strength 8, AP2, D3 damage. Reroll wounds of 1. The Blight Reaper Cannon is different from the Flamer that the other Blight Drone has. So this is 36-inch, heavy 4, 7, -1, 2. And if you roll 6+ on wound, it's -3. So it's kind of like a, I guess it's similar to an autocannon, just a slightly different, less range. And the Plague Probe is so strength user -2 D3 damage. So I think that's similar. And it has a 5+ save because it's a demon engine, and it can regenerate 1 wound per turn. Carrion Haunter. At the start of the first battle round, but before the turn begins, you can move this model up to 9 inches. So it's got a little scout move. And it explodes. explodes on a 4+, and it does D3 mortal wounds. Okay. Okay, cool. Chaos Decimator. Plague Hulk of Nurgle. Khitan. So here's the Khitan. I wonder if we're going to see it from Jay again. Let's see what it is. So 25 power. It's a Lord of War. 22 wounds, toughness 8. So a couple of wounds less than a knight. 3+, 3+, and 3+ armor save. So otherwise very similar to a knight. A couple less wounds, 25 power. The Gatling cannon is 48 range, heavy 8. 8 -2, 2, so that's pretty good. I think that is slightly better than the Gatling cannon, I'm thinking. I think Gatling cannon is 6 -2, 2. Less shots, heavy 8, but good range. And the cleaver, smash and slash. Smash and slash. So smash is strength 16, -4, 6 damage. Wow. That's a vehicle killer right there. That's going to double out a Land Raider with a 6+ armor save and 3 wounds going through and is dead. So that's pretty good. 5 attacks at full strength. And slash is strength user, so strength 10 at full strength, -2 D3, and you make 3 hit rolls for each attack made by this weapon. Okay, so the slash is like its stomp because it doesn't have any stompy feet. So it's gonna make 15 attacks at strength 10, -2 D3. So that's pretty good. So the Khitan's pretty cool so far. It also regenerates and has 5+ invuln, so all of these things have that. The Nurgle one, as you see up here, has disgustingly resilient. Oh, this Greater Blight drone didn't have disgustingly resilient. That's too bad for it. The Plague Hulk does though, and then it has Titanic keyword and the ability to leave combat and move with heavy and all that stuff. It advances 2d6 when it advances, and it explodes as usual. So I think the Khitan's pretty good. It's like a knight basically. And the Brass Scorpion. Okay, so we've already seen the Brass Scorpion. I've seen it on the table. Logan played his on like the first day, and he was not impressed. Let's have a look. So 32 power. So it's banned in some ITC formats. It's the Lord of War, and it's Khorne, obviously. So it has it's weaker than a knight in terms of wounds. Toughness 8, 20 wounds, 3+ save, strength 10 at full strength, and 8 attacks. So it has claws, a cannon, bombard, and blasters. So the claws are strength 14, -4, 6 damage. So pretty good at killing things and big things in melee. The cannon is 36-inch, heavy 10, 6 -2, 2. So it has a Gatling cannon, an Avenger Gatling cannon basically. Soul Shatter Bombard. So 24-inch, heavy D6. Strength 12, -3, D6 against vehicles, buildings, or monsters. Attacks are 2d6 damage instead of d6. Oh wait, that seems pretty good. Heavy d6, strength 12. So you're gonna be wrecking vehicles. And the Helm on Blasters is its pistol. 2d6, strength 10, -2, 1. Automatically hits its targets. So charging this thing is a little bit dangerous. Yeah, charging this thing would be a little bit dangerous with all that firepower. I mean, heavy 10, and then heavy d6, and then pistol 2d6. Yeah, so he's pretty strong. He has a 5+ invuln, and he regenerates, and he has Titanic, and he has Frenzy Charge. When a Greater Brass Scorpion makes a charge, roll 3d6. So it can charge 3d6. And as the Runes of the Blood God. So when a Psyker attempts to manifest a psychic power, it inflicts mortal wound on a Brass Scorpion. Psyker suffers perils of the warp on any double. Any friendly or enemy Psyker, but I'm not sure why a friendly Psyker would manifest a power that inflicts a wound on the Scorpion. Doomsday Reactor, yeah, it explodes on a 4+. Okay, so that is the Greater Brass Scorpion. So it seems pretty good to me. I like it. Let's see what the points is, because that's probably why nobody's playing it. Okay, so Demon Bound points values. So the Greater Blight Drone's pretty cheap at 139. Doesn't include war gear. We'll see what that is in a second. Greater breastplate. So that's why nobody's playing it. 625 points. Yep. However, you don't pay for any of the weapons on it, so that's it. 625 and you have it. So it's more expensive than a knight, but it's cheaper than like a mastodon or something like that. So I don't know, I would try it out. Let's see, the chitin is 330, but then you have to pay for the Gatling cannon, which is 184. Wow. So it ends up being like 5 something, so similar to a knight. Yeah, the Blight Drone is 139, but you pay 25 for the Plague Probe. And the Blight Reaper Cannon, so it ends up being close to 200 points. Okay, so those were the Demon engines. Let's go to the Hell Forged. Alright, so here, Hellforged is basically the equivalents of the Imperial versions, but with, let's say, Hellforged. So we're going to open up the book over here, and we're going to be able to compare these dreadnoughts. Okay, so the Hellforged Contemptor Dreadnought versus the Relic Contemptor Dreadnought. So first of all, before we look at these, let's look at what the Hellforged rule gives people. So the abilities that are common to Hellforged vehicles, so Machina Malefica at the end of a turn in which a unit with this ability has slain any models other than through Overwatch, roll a d6 equal to the number of models it has slain. Each of these dice heals a wound on 5+. It cannot be healed by any other means. Okay, so that's pretty good. So when it kills stuff in the fight phase, so it has to kill stuff in combat on a 5+, it'll heal a wound per model you killed, 5+ per model. That's pretty good. And I think that is that's what makes these things Hellforged. And that is a way better rule than the Relic rule. And of course, we've talked about the Relic rule before. Even though it has been fixed, it is still a restrictive rule and doesn't give you any benefits. So way better than the Relic rule. Anyway, so this Contemptor Dread is only 10 power compared to the Relic, which is 13 power. It is otherwise has the same stats. It actually has 2 less wounds than the Imperial version. It actually has a degrading movement stat instead of a degrading attacks stat. So, and it has 4 attacks versus 4 attacks at full strength for the Relic. So this thing moves slower as it takes damage, but doesn't lose number of attacks. So I guess that's kind of why you get that rule. Anyway, so it comes with Hellforged Death Claws and Combi Bolters, whereas the Relic comes with Dreadnought Combat Weapon and 2 Storm Bolters. So Hellforged Deathclaw times 2 minus 3, 3. So exactly the same as the Dreadnought Combat Weapon, and the Chain Fist is exactly the same as the Hellforged Chain Claw. So almost exactly the same. Now the ranged weapons are going to be different. I'm not going to go through them all. Some of them are the same: Twin Autocannon, C-Beam, the Kara's Assault Cannon, and everybody's got their own flamer and multi-meltas. Probably the Butcher Cannon is slightly different. Butcher Cannon's heavy 4, 8, minus 1, 2. Yeah, otherwise pretty similar, and then has a whole range of options, and has a 5+ invuln, whereas the Relic also has a 5+ straight up invuln. 5+ straight up invuln all the time, whereas this one has a 5 up against shooting only, but a 4+ in melee. So that's good. So this is supposed to be more melee than the Relic. Otherwise the same. Okay, and we'll look at the points, all the points, compare the points afterwards. Okay, so here's the Hellforged Land Raider Proteus. Let's find the equivalent. here, the Relic Land Raider Proteus is 1 power more. Again, its attacks degrade, the Relic attacks degrade, whereas the weapon skill degrades on the Hellforged one. So again, I guess it wants you to attack. It's got the same Machina Malefica ability like all of them, and otherwise has the same stats. It only has 4 attacks but keeps them, whereas the Relic has 6 attacks but degrades. So if you want your close combat Land Raider, here you go. Twin las cannon on the Relic, and 2 twin las cannon and an infernal hunger and a heavy bolter on the Hellforged. So the infernal hunger is the melee weapon. So I guess it's got a mouth on it or something. Strength user -3, 1 damage. So there you go. I guess it's a melee focused Land Raider. Okay, and yep, has those other rules. All right, there we go. So I won't go through all of them, but here's the other Land Raider variants: Achilles and the Hellforged Predator. Let's see. I guess that's similar to the Deimos pattern that comes with the Plasma Destroyer. This one comes with the Plasma Destroyer and is more close combat oriented, just like the Proteus. Hellforged Scorpius. And Sicaran. Again, the difference is the Machina Malefica and the Infernal Hunger close combat weapon. Close combat weapon. Sicaran Venator and Spartan. So it hadn't separated them out. This is now getting into the Lord of Wars. And again, it's the same difference between the 2 Spartans. Pretty much the same. I think they're going to be cheaper, but we'll see. Here's the Deredeo and the Rapier. And the Leviathan. So let's look at the Leviathan quickly, because I know these rules pretty well. So Siege Claw, Siege Drill are similar. Hell Flamer is the same as a Heavy Flamer. Butcher Cannon is pretty similar to the Storm Cannon array, but it has this leadership debuff. Soul Burner Rebodkin is, that's interesting. So 18-inch range, heavy 2d3, and every hit roll inflicts a mortal wound. That's pretty good. Every successful hit roll made inflicts a mortal wound instead of normal damage, and you're hitting on 2+. Nice. Or hitting on 3+, because it's heavy if you move. So 18-inch range, heavy 2d3 mortal wounds. That's pretty good. And the Graph Flux is the same. And a Melt-A-Gun. That's pretty sweet. Almost makes you want to play Chaos. Alright, the Dreadclaw. I always loved the Dreadclaw as a model. It's super cool. I love the idea of it. So let's see. 10 power. It's a fast attack, so it's not actually a transport. But it can transport 10 models as usual. Toughness 7, 10 wounds, so same as a drop pod basically. And however, it can move. Yeah, it can fly around, and it has attacks, 4 attacks, and it does blade struts. So strength user, which is strength 7 at full strength, -2, 2, so it can actually kill some stuff, and it has thermal jets. When fired, this weapon automatically inflicts D6 hits on any friendly or enemy units with at least 1 model in range. The weapon can only be used if more enemy units will be affected than friendly ones. Okay, interesting. Has the Machina Malefica rule. It can explode and has drop pod assault. Instead of deploying, you can set it up and it drops down 9 inches, blah blah blah. Models within immediately have to disembark, and then it just moves off and does its thing. It's kind of cool. It's like the Tyranid pod. Oh, look who's come to visit us today. Reggie. Which book do you like better, Reggie? The Space Marine one or the Chaos one? Reggie, what do you think? What do you think, Reggie? You're not sure? I think you're an agent of chaos, personally. Okay. Here we go. Let's move on, Reg. Okay, so we got the Charybdis Assault Claw. Oh, maybe this is what I'm thinking about. Yeah, Charybdis Assault Claw definitely moves around. Strength 9, 8 attacks, 16 wounds, toughness 8, so it's like a Land Raider. It's a flying drop pod Land Raider. Has the same rules as the other drop pod. And it can transport 20 infantry, jump packs, or terminators. Can also transport a Hellforged Dreadnought, or a Rapier Battery, or a Hellbrute. Has the same attacks as the last one. The blade struts as Melta Cutters, which are melee, 16 strength, -5 AP, 2d6 damage. Wow. And has special rule to make it easier to hit vehicles, monsters, or titans. And thermal jets, so that's the same as the last one, except it's stronger and has a heavy 3, strength 6, -1 launcher. So the Charybdis Assault Claw is a lot stronger, and it's going to take out titanic things or vehicles in combat. And it has 15 power fast attack, so that's pretty cool. Awesome model. Here's the Cerberus. Typhon. The Fellblade. Again, these are all the same as the Imperial, except it has Eternal Hunger, has degrading movement instead of attacks, and probably 1 or 2 less wounds and slightly cheaper in power. Otherwise, pretty much almost the same as the Relic or Imperial versions. Here's the Falchion. And the Mastodon. So the Mastodon is pretty much the same, 42 power, 30 wounds, toughness 9, strength 9, and same void shields and weapon skill, ballistic skill, and its movement goes down, but not the attacks. Has the same weapons, las cannons, flamers, Skyraper battery, and a siege melta, and it has the Eternal Hunger, so it does more damage in combat. And also it has the Machina Malefica rule. Okay, so in the belly of the beast, at the end of any movement phase in which one or more units disembarked from the Mastodon, roll a d6. On a roll of 1, a model from the disembarking unit chosen by the controlling player is slain. Any models removed due to this effect count towards the Machina Malefica rule. So if you disembark from it at any time, you might die. That's a little bit of a down point of using the Mastodon. Yeah, otherwise all the rules are the same. But yeah, that's not good. There you go. It's a dangerous vehicle. It'll eat you up when you disembark. Okay, so let's go look at the points. Let's see how much it is. Okay, so here's the Hellforged points values. So let's see. Dreads are fairly similar. So the Leviathan Dreadnought is about the same price. And the Falchion is a similar price, a little bit cheaper, 600 points. And the Mastodon is like, man, let's check, 704. And for the Space Marines, the Mastodon is 734. and the Falchion is 640. So it's, you know, 30 points cheaper, but then you can die when you disembark. So I guess you get a discount for that. And the weapon values are probably the same. So Graph Flux is 65. Yeah, everything kind of looks fairly similar. Siege Claw. Yeah, Sky Reaper Battery 42. Yeah, everything's pretty much the same. Okay, Reggie is causing chaos. Hey, Reg, this is the Chaos read along. Huh? You made an appearance because it's a Chaos read along, right, Reggie? Okay. Just move out of the way for a second so we can keep going here, Reggie. Okay, the Arene cults. I guess this is a legion of some sort. If people familiar with Chaos can tell me what the Arene cults is. But I see here that it's a faction keyword with Arene cults. So anyway, have a look at these things. Okay, it's the Storm Eagle. Does Arene cults just mean flyers? And maybe that's what it means, because these guys are all the flyers. Here's the Thunderhawk. So similar price to the Relic one. Pretty much the same stats. And it has the same, so Thunderhawk cannon, 4 twin heavy bolters, 2 las cannons, and the Hellstrike battery, which is pretty similar to the Storm Strike batteries. Had Bale fire missiles. Can carry stuff and bikes and cavalry. And let's see if you die if you disembark it. So airborne, colossal flyer, supersonic, 5+ invuln, crash and burn, hoverjet, machine spirit, ignore, -1 hit modifier, yeah. And cluster bomb. So it's pretty much the same. Probably similar in price. Here's that crazy Soulcar pattern Stormbird, which is crazy. Awesome model, but I can't bring myself to buy it. And then the Xiphon, which is a cool little model. Underrated, I think, the Xiphon. Okay, let's go look at the Arene points here. So here's the Arene cult points values. So 650 for the Thunderhawk, so it's pretty similar. And then the weapons. Alright, let's go on to the Lords of Ruin, which I guess are like Chaos Space Marine characters. So Zoofor the Impaler, here you go, he's a Khorne Lord. Seems pretty good. 5 attacks, 2+ save, 7 wounds, hitting on 2s. Skull Taker Axe. Strength 5, -2, 2 damage when targeting a character. Every wound of 6+ becomes a B4, 4, and 3 damage. Cool. Necrosius the Undying, Arch Sorcerer of the Tainted. This is a Nurgle. Lord Arcos, Master of the Faithless. This guy is Alpha Legion. It's interesting. His keywords say the Faithless or Alpha Legion. Not sure exactly what that means. Chaos Hellrite. These guys are basically like Tech Marines, it looks like. This is Hellrite on a Dark Abeyant. Oh, and that's it. Let's go look at those points for people. So here's the Lord of Ruin points values. Okay, Children of the Warp. So I guess these are your greater demons. So they're all Lords of War. Lord of War, 35 power. Angrath the Unbound, the Demon Lord of Bloodthirsters. So this guy is a Titanic Bloodthirster. So he flies. 16 movement at full strength. 2+ weapon skill. Strength 12. Toughness 8. 24 wounds. So he's like a knight in terms of killing, hard to kill. 2+ armor. 10 attacks. And he's armed with the Axe of Khorne and the Bloodlash, like a Bloodthirster. So the Bloodlash is Assault 2d6. This weapon can be used within 1 inch of an enemy unit and can target enemy units within 1 inch of friendly units. Interesting. So Assault 2d6, Strength 7, -3, 2 damage. That's pretty good. And Axe of Khorne is Strength +3, so Strength 15, -4, d6 damage. Cool. If he charges or is charged or heroically intervenes, it goes +1 strength and attacks for all models in the unit. If a Khorne demon unit with this ability either charges... Okay, so he gets +1 strength and an extra attack. So he goes up to strength 16, 11 attacks. He has a 4+ invuln, so he's pretty hard to kill. 2+, 4++. Arch Demonic Ritual, Emissary of the Bloodgod. You must use this model's leadership for Khorne models and within 9 inches. Angrath the Unbound may be used to attempt to deny 2 psychic powers and adds +3 to any attempt to deny. That's pretty good. And on any turn in which Angrath the Unbound successfully charges, roll a d6. On a 2+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. So that's almost a guaranteed d3 mortal wounds just for charging. And then he has Death Frenzies, and on a 4+, he does d6 mortal wounds within d6 of him. Pretty good. Let's see how much this guy is. We'll just skip to the back. Children of the Warp. Where is it? Here we go. Children of the Warp. Here are the point values. So this guy, Angrath the Unbound, is 700 points. 700 points, and then everything is free. So, yeah, 700 points. Not too bad, I guess, for what you're getting. He's going to make it up the table. He moves 16 and he flies. He's going to make it into your enemy lines, and then he's just going to do a crazy amount of damage. Run this guy with the new World Eaters. That'd be pretty awesome. Uraka the Warfiends. This guy's only a character at 9 power, so just a little guy. Executioner's Axe. Okay, I guess he's just a little character. I won't spend any much time on him. And Samus is the Demon Prince of the Rune Storm, so he's also Khorne. Again, just a small character. And Zarak'Kanel, the Bringer of Torment. So he's a 23 power Lord of War. So he's a Slaanesh Lord of War. So he's the Greater Demon of Slaanesh. Moves 12, 2+, Strength 7, 8, Toughness 20 wounds, 6 attacks, and a leadership penalty -2 with a 4+ save. He has the Soul Eater Blade, which is Strength +1, so Strength 8, -4 AP, 3 damage. Every time you make a wound roll of 4+, inflict 3 mortal wounds instead of the normal 3 damage. That's pretty good. So half the time you're just doing mortals. And then Slicing Claws, so Strength 7, -2, d6 damage. 4+ invuln save, so 4+, 4++. Always attacks first, like all the Slaanesh things. Add 1 to any save rolls made against melee attacks, so he actually goes to a 3+, 4++. Zarak'Kanel can advance and or fall back and still charge in the same turn. In addition, his charge distance roll is not affected by terrain, not that anything is. Emissary of the Prince of Excess. You may use this model's leadership for friendly Slaanesh units within 6 inches when morale is taken. And Aura of Despair. So subtract that leadership penalty from enemy units within 6, which is decent because it's going to be killing stuff. Can cast 3 psychic powers and deny 3 psychic powers every turn. So that's pretty good. Zarak'Kanel for Slaanesh. Let's see how much this person is. Zarak'Kanel is 460. Okay, so he's like 240 less than this Bloodthirster. Is Got less wounds, not as good a save, doesn't move as far, has less attacks, and probably doesn't do as much damage, but it can hit mortals and has a leadership debuff and can advance and charge and fall back and charge, so that's pretty good. Okay, and not banned by ITC. Okay, I'm not even going to bother trying to read this. Eteus Raukerez. So he's a Zinch demon, Lord of Change. And he is 35 powered. 2+2+, he moves 20 inches, which is pretty far. Strength 8, Toughness 8, 27 wounds, 6 attacks, 3+ save. And he gets a +2 psychic bonus. So Staff of Cataclysm, 16-inch range, Assault 2d6, 9 - 4, 3 damage. If it has 10 infantry models, has its last model slain, then a unit of 3 flamers. Okay, so it adds flamers, but you have to pay for that, so that doesn't help you if it's anything like adding spawn. And then Warfire Talons, so strength 8 -3d6. Any hit rolls of a 6. Any hit that rolls a 6 for its wound rolls immediately inflicts d3 mortal damage. In addition, okay, that's pretty good. Cataclysmic Strike. So against vehicles, buildings, and monsters, it does 6 damage. 4+ save. Add 1 to the invulnerable save for Siege Demons. So it adds 1, so it actually has a 3+ invulnerable save. I don't see why don't just give it 3+ invulnerable save, but use this leader's leadership. Successfully manifested enemy psychic powers against a reflected back on a 5+. The effects of the psychic power are ignored, and manifesting psyker suffers a mortal wound. Nice. Reroll any failed attempts to invoke a demonic ritual. If at the beginning of the controlling player's shooting phase, any Lord of Change or Demon Prince is within 12 inches, roll a d6 on a 4+. The Staff of Cataclysm's ranged attack must be used against the closest Lord of Change or Demon Prince. Aha! So he's jealous. He attacks other Demon Princes and Lords of Change. Spiteful Demise. Alright. You can manifest 3 psychic powers and attempt to deny 3 powers. You have this bonus up here. Okay, so let's see how much this dude is. This dude is 700, so same as Angrath. Okay, so next is Mammon the Transfigured. You can check that out. He's a Nurgle character. Then we have Korvax Utter Blight, Demon Prince of the Runestorm. Again, a Nurgle. And then Plague Toads. Pox Riders. Spined Chaos Beast. Giant Chaos Spawn. So this thing is funny. So it's still a 5 power heavy support. But you see here the chart here. So it's at 20 wounds. Starts off at wounds 10. But at the start of every turn, the Chaos Spawn's characteristics are set. So you have to roll what it says in that chart, and that determines your movement, strength, and attacks. If you roll, and then this says, whenever you roll for those characteristics, if you roll a 1 or a 6, on any d6 or d3, it gains d3 wounds. It takes it above its starting total of 10, and if it ever reaches 20 or more wounds, it becomes Titanic. And then you get those statistics there. So, and all that does for it, of course, is mean that it can be targeted and do double damage from macro weapons. It's not actually an advantage for this thing, but it's kind of fun. Yeah. And you know, how much do you pay for this fun bit of business here? So let's see. The Giant Chaos Spawn is 75, so it's not too bad. And Scabe Thrax the Bloated, Lord of the Blighted Pit. So this is your Nurgle Greater Demon. 2+2+, 9 toughness with 22 wounds. A 6+ save, which is not great. But a 4+ invuln. So you're really just a 4+ save, really. Strength 10, 6 attacks. So, let's see. So he has a Vomit, which is a 2d6 9-inch range pistol. Flamer, 6 minus 2 d3. His blade does 6 damage, and he has Nurglings. It doesn't say how many Nurglings he has. It just says he's accompanied by swarms of Nurglings. Okay, so it makes d6 additional attacks with that weapon profile. Okay, yeah, strength 2, no AP, 1 damage. It's just pointless. So, each time Scablax loses a wound on a d6, 5 or 6, so he has disgustingly resilient, and leadership stuff as usual. Opponent must subtract 1 from any hit rolls that target friendly Nurgle and demon units within 6 inches, so he gives a -1 bubble, which is pretty good. And he explodes and can do 3 powers. And he's 30 power. For what? I'm not sure why he's so expensive. And he is 610 points. Alright, so that one is a bit of a jip. Okay, and that's it. So now we go on to the Trader Knights. And Trader Knights are fun. They're a little bit stronger than the Imperial ones, I think. So this one, for example, the Knight Acheron has 27 wounds, and they have this crazy flame cannon, and has the same Reaper Chain Fist and a Titanic Feet. And they heal. They have what's called Infernal Auto Simulacra, so that's something that the Knights definitely don't have. At the end of beginning of your turn, on a 5+, the model heals a wound, which is not a lot in the grand scheme when people are shooting you, but might come in handy. Okay, otherwise is exactly the same as the Knight. This one moves a bit faster too. It moves 14 at full strength. This is the Renegade Knight Lancer, which is the same as the Acheron in terms of stats. And it has this Shock Lance, which is +6 strength. So strength 14, -4, 6, and reroll failed hit rolls if you charged. So that's pretty decent. It's a really good melee Knight. Would you use that over the Titanic Feet? Depends what you're trying to hit, I guess. If you're trying to kill another Knight, you'd probably use the Shock Lance. But if you're trying to kill a bunch of stuff, you use the Feet. And it has the shield. So this is the one that has the shield. 5+ invuln, increasing to 4+ in the fight phase. And enemy Titanic units within 1 inch must subtract 1 from their hit rolls when attacking it. So that's pretty decent. And then, of course, it heals like the other one, and the other rules are the same. The Castigator is the one that has the Castigator bolt cannon, so that's a heavy 14-shot 6 -2 so it's better than the Avenger cannon. Has a Tempest Warblade. Does D3 mortal wounds to monsters and vehicles, and then otherwise is the same 5+ invuln and heals. And the Atropos is basically the same profile, and it has various weapons as you see here. This one has a 4+ invuln against shooting and a 5+ in combat. It heals and adds 1 to hit rolls when making shooting attacks against Titanic. And the Renegade Knight Magera and the Renegade Knight Porphyrion. That's that big mother. 40 power, ballistic skill 2+, 30 wounds. Yeah, this thing is killing some shit. Renegade Knight Styrex. Okay, let's go look at their points for you. Here's the Renegade Knight points. So all pretty similar to normal Knights. The Porphyrion's a little bit expensive, obviously. I think overall these guys are all a little bit more expensive than their Imperial counterparts. And you definitely pay for their equipment as usual. Alright, and then we go on to Titans. So I won't go over the Titans, but you can have a look at these if you like. They're probably pretty similar to Imperial Titans, just with the Inferno rule. Okay, that's it. Let me just give you the points for the Titans. Okay, And here's all the war gear. And that's it. So thank you for joining me on this read along of the Imperial Armour Index for Chaos. I'm going to try and get a hold of the Xenos one. I have not bought it yet, and I was not going to, but I might end up doing it if I have to order a bunch of other stuff from Forge World and I need free shipping. So stay tuned if I end up purchasing that one. But thanks for watching otherwise, and see you next time.